who's in, who's out after stage 2 of the Bass Pro Tour. That's what we're going to talk about right now. It was another fantastic tournament for Major League Fishing in the Bass Pro Tour. They were on stage 2 on the Harris chain, and I have to just say, there's a lot of people that I root for, but I couldn't be more happy for my buddy Bobby Lane to take home $150,000. It was, again, a fantastic tournament from top to bottom. Now, we need to clear the air. We're not going to talk about the Pouchet and the Adrian thing. But the reason why this video is coming out after those videos is because the tournament was ongoing when that drama started. Now, if you missed stage 2 on the Harris chain, we had the fish kill to start off with. But a lot of people realized Lake Apopka was going to be where the big fish were caught. It didn't have as much pressure because the week before the big bass tournament was, people weren't going to Apopka because it's just too far of a drive. And it was, again, an unbelievably successful tournament for Major League Fishing. And more importantly, we saw a bunch of anglers not use forward-facing sonar. And they fished the traditional way. And they caught them. They absolutely smashed them. There were a lot of anglers that didn't use it at any point over the 4 days. Jacob Wheeler won the first 2 days, which gave him a bye to the championship round. He did not win, but Bobby Lane came from behind and beat Mark, and it was phenomenal. Bobby deserved it. So did most of those guys, to be honest. There's a lot of guys that are just phenomenal anglers, but when you're competing against Jacob Wheeler, it's tough. That's the truth. Jacob is in a league of his own right now, but it doesn't mean these guys can't catch him, and there's a lot of guys striving to catch him. And it's going to be fun to see the rest of the season. And I need to say this. Someone commented in the last video, who's in, who's out, I said Ron Nelson. Ron Nelson doesn't have to worry about anything. He did great last year. The problem is that if you look at my notes, you'll see that guys that don't have as many years, their averages are down. And I try to go by this. I haven't taken out the worst years still. There's two, if you fished for the 6 years or 7 years on the BPT, you can take out 2 of your worst years. So unfortunately, I haven't taken out the worst year because this could be their worst year. But these are the guys who are kind of, sort of on the bottom. They are on the bottom. You know, they're trying to compete and get in that top 45, which might have been one of the reasons why Keith was having such a weird weekend. But anglers like Keith Carson and David Walker and Gary Klein and Shin Fukai and Marshall Hughes and Britt Myers and Marty Robinson and Dean Rojas and Dave Lefebvre, Fred Rubanis, Skeet Reese, Bradley Roy, Keith Pouchet, Josh Bertrand, and Martin Villa. That is the bottom anglers of that 46 and below. And actually, Brent Chapman, Terry Scroggins, James Elam, Dylan Hayes, and Jacob Wall are all in there too. Jacob Wall really doesn't have to worry about much this year because Jacob Wall is leading Angler of the Year points right now. So I would kind of take him out. Dudley might be that next person. But those anglers are the bottom 20 anglers. Now, some of the rookies are also in that group, or some of the guys that have only been in for 2 years. But these are the anglers I mentioned were all anglers who have been in the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour for 4, 5, or 6 years. So they need to boost themselves up. They need to catch fish. They need to get those Angler of the Year points. And that is going to add a lot of stress to a lot of anglers because when and if they don't make it, they either have to go to the invitationals or they have to go to the opens. And having that's an ego deflator for some of these guys. Some of these guys have been in the top level for so long that taking a step down will hurt them. Will hurt them mentally and probably a little bit physically and monetarily wise too. So making it into that top 45 is very important. So every tournament is even crazier and you need those points. So it's going to be fun to see how this lays out the rest of the season because we have still 7 tournaments, Red Crest, which doesn't count per points, and Heavy Hitters. Both those tournaments are free for the anglers. So getting into those and getting some extra cash into the bank account really helps them. So are you surprised by any of those anglers in that bottom 20? Comment below and tell me what you think. And remember, Friday nights, 8 p.m., we're going to go live. We're going to have Matt Becker this upcoming week. Should be great to talk to him, Bass Pro Tour angler. So 8 p.m. Friday night, come to the YouTube channel and check it out. Remember, take your kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.